Greetings, kindred spirits. I am Lady Onika, a lady of the shadows, here to guide you through the enchanting realms of the unknown. Join me as we explore dark tales, haunting games, and the beautiful intricacies of the macabre. Together, we shall summon a community where curiosity reigns and shadows dance. If you dare, subscribe and ring the bell. Let's weave our fates together in this thrilling journey. Welcome to my world where the night is always young. Welcome back. I have returned due to a short break in life. I also struggle with consistency, but today I share with you one of my favorite pieces I've done, and I will also be sharing a short story to go along with this enchanting piece. I do hope you enjoy. I had quite a fun experience making this piece. The Lady of the Crimson Wake. A tale of love, time, and the sea. They say there's a place along the coast where time folds in on itself, where the air smells of salt and something older than the sea, and the waves whisper in a tongue no longer spoken by men. It's not on any map. You won't find it in guidebooks or marked trails, but if you wander far enough past where the land crumbles into cliffs, and the horizon sways like breath in a dream, you might stumble upon it. And if you arrive at dusk on a day when the wind carries the scent of rose petals and thunder, you might see her. She stands there always, at the edge of the old stone steps, her back to the world, her eyes set to sea. She wears a gown of impossible beauty, not woven from silk or satin, but from living petals, blooming and cascading from her body in a trail that tumbles down the rocks and brushes the water's edge. Every flower a memory, every fold a moment, every petal a piece of a promise long broken. They call her the Lady of the Crimson Wake. And this is the story the sea tells in hushes and sighs. Long before the village was swallowed by time, when it still bustled with markets, taverns, and dreams, there lived a girl named Elira. Elira was known for three things: her wild black hair that no comb could tame, the fire in her voice that could shame grown men into silence, and her obsession with the sea. From the time she could walk, she was always chasing waves, climbing cliffs, reading the horizon like scripture. The villagers said she was born with the tide in her blood, and maybe they were right. When she was 17, during a late spring storm, a ship unlike any other drifted into the bay. Its hull was black as midnight, its sails a brilliant, impossible red that seemed to glow even under the gray sky. No name was etched on its bow, only strange markings that shimmered when the rain touched them. The crew disembarked in silence, their faces hidden beneath hoods and shadows. They traded rare spices and coins older than kingdoms, but it was the ship's navigator, Kael, who captured Elira's heart. Kael was unlike anyone she had ever met. He spoke of stars with reverence, of maps that led to places no man had returned from, of storms that whispered secrets if you listened long enough. He carried a sadness in his eyes, like someone who had glimpsed eternity and come back longing for something simple, like love. They met in secret beneath the cliffs where the rocks formed a natural amphitheater, and the sea played witness to their whispered promises. For months, they lived in a world of their own making, each day a stolen miracle, each night a vow carved into sky and salt. But Kael held a truth he had long feared to speak. The ship, the Seraphim, was not bound by the rules of this world. It sailed between realms, through tides that bent time and wind that whispered forgotten names. The crew was immortal, not by choice but by curse, bound to serve a timeless captain in exchange for their own salvation. I gave up death to live, Kael confessed. And in doing so, I gave up life. He told her of the bargain. Every 7 years the ship could anchor for one night, just one. A sliver of freedom, a breath outside the curse. If Elira came aboard during that window, she could join him. But she would never return. Not to her land, not to her people, not to time as she knew it. Elira didn't need to think. She said yes before he finished speaking. They planned everything. She would wait for him at the shore, dressed in red so he would know her through the fog. She would climb aboard the Seraphim, and they would vanish together into myth. But war doesn't wait for love. That spring, before the ship could return, raiders struck the coast. Fires consumed the village. The sea was choked with smoke. Elira was taken, hidden away by those who believed they were saving her. By the time she escaped and made it to the shore, she was bloodied, broken, and alone. The ship had come. The ship had gone. All that remained was a single red petal on the rocks, still warm. Years passed. Elira did not speak of Kael again, not to strangers, not to kin. But every 7th spring, she returned to the same stone steps, the same jagged shore, wearing a gown made from red flowers she had collected over the years. Roses, camellias, poppies, peonies. The petals were threaded with longing, stitched with sorrow, dyed with the memory of a love that refused to fade. And one night, when the stars aligned and the tide stood still, the Seraphim returned. It did not dock. It simply hovered beyond the rocks, sails blazing crimson against the silver sea. No voices called, no anchor dropped. Only silence, deep and thunderous. Elira stood in her gown of red, and for a heartbeat the world held its breath. Kael was there, on the deck, unaged, unmoved, unspoken, and though he said nothing, his eyes screamed everything. He had waited, as had she, but the moment passed, and the ship vanished again. Decades have passed since that night, though you wouldn't know it by looking at her. Some say she has not aged, that the sea took pity on her and preserved her in salt and time. Others whisper she's become something else entirely, no longer woman, but legend made flesh. Still she returns, every 7 years, and the Seraphim still comes. There are rumors that one day she will step aboard, that the petals will stop falling, that the wind will still, that the Lady of the Crimson Wake will finally go home. But until then, the waves will carry her story, of a girl who loved a sailor cursed to eternity, of a ship that sails between worlds, of a promise made beneath the cliffs and never forgotten. And if you listen closely on nights when the sea is calm and the moon is red, you might hear the petals rustling in the wind, or the sigh of a ship just beyond the mist, waiting, still waiting.